Some players are severely underrated, while others are just a product of hype. In this video, we will take down the top 10 most overrated players in NBA history. Number 10. James Harden. The third overall pick in 2009, James Harden was the Thunder's most important bench player. He was named the 2012 Sixth Man of the Year while helping Oklahoma City reach the NBA Finals. After 3 years, he was traded to Houston where he became the starting shooting guard. He has averaged 24.7 points per game, and he became known for his Euro step and step-back jumper. In the 2017 to 2018 season, he led the league in scoring for the first time, and he was named League MVP. Harden's been a 10-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA selection, 3-time scoring champion, 2-time assist leader, and the 2018 NBA MVP. The main reason I consider Harden overrated is the way he gets a lot of his points. Harden has garnered a reputation for exploiting league rules in order to draw fouls and get to the free throw line. Since 2012, he has averaged close to 10 free throws a game, and he makes 86% of them. His volume of scoring in Houston stems from head coach Mike D'Antoni's guard-centric style of offense. While he is the all-time NBA leader in unassisted three-point shots, his career average three-point percentage is 36.3%. That's on an average of 7 three-point attempts per game. These are solid numbers, but from the way fans and the media talk about him, you'd think he was in the same category as Steph Curry and Damian Lillard. This is just not true. In the playoffs, Harden doesn't get the foul calls he would get in the regular season, and all his scoring stats go down drastically. Other negative aspects of his game is his high turnover numbers. Harden broke the single-season turnover mark twice during his time in Houston. The fault everyone notes on Harden is his poor defense. He did improve a bit by 2018, but he won't be making an all-defensive team anytime soon. Number 9. Ralph Sampson. A 3-time College Player of the Year for Virginia and the number 1 pick of the 1983 draft, the 7 feet 4 inches Ralph Sampson made an immediate impact for the Houston Rockets. He averaged 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks in his rookie year, and was named the NBA Rookie of the Year. In his sophomore season, the team drafted Hakeem Olajuwon to form the Twin Towers frontcourt. In 1986, he authored one of the greatest playoff buzzer beaters in playoff history to upset the Los Angeles Lakers and advance to the finals. In his career, he was a 4-time All-Star, the 1985 All-Star Game MVP, and the 1984 Rookie of the Year. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2012. Sampson had so much potential, but the reality was that he peaked in college. He was the league's best rookie, but his team still qualified for the first overall pick in 1984. He only lasted 4.5 years with the Rockets, and in that time he failed to win a title and was constantly hampered by knee injuries. What was supposed to be a dominant duo with Olajuwon never really blossomed, and Hakeem's career took off after Sampson left. His career was quickly derailed after leaving Houston, and he was out of the league by 1992. Number 8. Carmelo Anthony. The third overall pick in 2003, Carmelo Anthony instantly became the man in Denver. He quickly earned a reputation of taking games over offensively with a variety of crafty ways to score. Anthony had the strength and quickness to be an immediate and consistent scoring threat in the post. He also liked creating space from his defenders, which allowed him to step into his jump shot or put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket and get to the free throw line. In Melo's 19 seasons, he was a 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA selection, and the 2013 scoring champion. The problem with Anthony's game was that, outside of his scoring, he didn't really offer much anywhere else. For someone his size, he didn't have the rebound numbers one would expect, and he was never a great passer. Melo may be a top 10 scorer of all time, but he gives it all up on the defensive side. When it came to being the face of the team, he didn't do the little things needed to be a leader. He also had a reputation for giving up on teams. Just look at his departures from Denver and New York. He had the frame and skill to be as dominant as his 2003 draft classmate LeBron James, but he never showed the drive to take himself out of the spotlight and be the teammate that his squads needed him to be. Number 7. Russell Westbrook. The 4th overall pick in 2008, Russell Westbrook quickly became one of the most athletic players in league history. He is also widely known for playing at a high level of intensity and for being able to keep that intensity for the majority of the game. He will often look to push the pace of the game for transition points and attack the rim. He has the most rebounds among guards, and his 198 career triple-doubles are the most in NBA history. In 2017, he became the second player to average a triple-double in a season, a feat he repeated in 3 of the following 4 years. Westbrook has been a 9-time All-Star and All-NBA team selection, 3-time assists leader, 2-time scoring champion, 2-time All-Star Game MVP, and the 2017 NBA MVP. A lot of criticism of Westbrook's career is his poor efficiency. He has the worst career three-point percentage in NBA history of players who have more than 2,500 three-point attempts. He also has the highest turnover per game average among qualifying players. Many think Westbrook became an inefficient scorer after Kevin Durant left for Golden State, but in reality, he never had a season shooting higher than 45% from the field. In the playoffs, his stats get worse as he has a career 40% field goal percentage and shoots under 30% from three. He has also been criticized for his single-mindedness, for being difficult to cooperate with, and for holding back other players. Just look at players like Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis, who became All-Stars after leaving Oklahoma City. However, most of Westbrook's criticism stems from his addiction to the triple-double. There have been many instances where it was obvious that he was trying to get a final assist or rebound by boxing out his own teammates or forcing passes, hoping it would lead to a bucket. Just look at a November 2017 game where the Warriors were laughing at him for trying to get a final assist in a blowout loss. There's no denying that Westbrook is a generational talent and a future Hall of Famer. But there's also no doubt that he has some severe flaws to his game that can't be ignored. Number 6. Derek Fisher. The 24th overall pick by the Lakers in 1996, Derek Fisher quickly earned a reputation for his leadership, toughness, and clutch playmaking ability. His most famous career play came in Game 5 of the 2004 Western Conference semifinals against San Antonio. Fisher shot the game-winning jumper with 0.4 seconds remaining. Lakers head coach Phil Jackson called Fisher the unquestioned vocal leader of the team, and Kobe Bryant called him his favorite teammate. In his 18 seasons, he won 5 championships with Los Angeles, and he won 161 playoff games. Fisher's fame is no doubt attributed to the team and players around him. He hit some big shots and won a lot of rings. The way some Lakers fans speak of him, you'd think he was the second coming of Magic Johnson. While it's true he wasn't really bad at anything, with career averages of 8 points, 3 assists, and 1 steal, it's hard to say that he was truly crucial to the Lakers' success. He was always calm, cool, and collected when it mattered, but I'm sure Kobe, Shaq, and Pau would have won rings without Fisher. Number 5. Kevin Garnett. The 5th overall pick in 1995 by Minnesota, Kevin Garnett became the first player drafted out of high school in nearly 2 decades. He made an immediate impact with the Timberwolves, leading them to 8 consecutive playoff appearances. By the 2003 to 2004 season, he set career highs in points, rebounds, and blocks. He led the league in rebounds, all while being named league MVP. In 2007, Garnett was traded to Boston for 7 players in one of the biggest blockbuster trades in NBA history. Joining Paul Pierce and the newly acquired Ray Allen, the Celtics had a resurgence in 2007 to 2008 and won the NBA title. Garnett played 6 years in Boston and 2 in Brooklyn before returning to Minnesota in 2014. In his 21 seasons, Garnett was a 15-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA selection, 12-time All-Defensive selection, the 2008 Defensive Player of the Year, the 2003 All-Star Game MVP, the 2004 NBA MVP, and the 2008 NBA Champion. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2020. There are some who say Garnett is the greatest power forward of all time, or second only to Tim Duncan. This just isn't true. For all his greatness and leadership, Garnett never accomplished as much as he should have. In his first 12 years in Minnesota, his Timberwolves only got out of the first round once in 8 tries. And for those who argue that he didn't have the best teammates in Minnesota, I can only point to players like Tim Duncan and Dirk Nowitzki. They took their teams on multiple deep playoff and finals runs with no other All-Star teammates. For Garnett to finally get a ring, he had to join a team with 2 other All-Stars who both averaged over 25 points per game the year prior. Upon joining Boston, his days of averaging 20 points and 12 rebounds were gone. He averaged around 16 points and 8 rebounds for the Celtics. While KG is considered an elite defender, he ranks just 19th all-time in defensive rating. Additionally, he never had the offensive talent that guys like Duncan, Nowitzki, and Malone had. Number 4. Scottie Pippen. After being selected 5th overall in 1987 by Seattle, Scottie Pippen was quickly traded to Chicago. Mentored by Michael Jordan, the two worked after practices to refine Pippen's skills, and he developed additional ones to become one of basketball's most versatile players. As the primary defensive stopper and versatile scoring threat in Phil Jackson's triangle offense, he helped the Bulls to 3 consecutive NBA championships between 1991 to 1993. After Jordan surprisingly retired before the start of the 1993 to 1994 season, Pippen led the Bulls in scoring, assists, and blocks, and he was second in the NBA in steals per game. With the return of Jordan and the addition of Dennis Rodman in 1996, the Bulls posted the best regular season record in NBA history at the time at 72-10. This paved the way for Chicago's second three-peat of the decade. Pippen spent his final years in Houston and Portland, before retiring with the Bulls in 2004. In his 17 seasons, Pippen was a 7-time All-Star, 8-time All-NBA selection, 10-time All-Defensive selection, the 1994 All-Star Game MVP, the 1995 NBA Steals leader, and a 6-time NBA champion. He was inducted twice into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2010. He entered once as an individual and again as a member of the Dream Team. Pippen's added attention is no doubt generated by the fact he played alongside Michael Jordan. While his contributions were important, there's a reason he's seen as the sidekick. Like Jordan, Pippen was a mediocre three-point shooter. He averaged just 16 points per game for his career. He also had a habit of disappearing offensively in key moments, especially in the finals. Following the Bulls' second three-peat, his career went on a steady decline over his final 6 seasons. Pippen's contributions to the Bulls dynasty remain indispensable. But indispensable and irreplaceable are not the same thing. Pippen never matured into a franchise cornerstone, and his skill set is best suited for that of a second option. Number 3. Derrick Rose. The first overall pick in 2008, Derrick Rose became an explosive playmaker for the Bulls. His combination of athleticism, leaping ability, and speed allowed him to attack the basket frequently. In 2011, he became the youngest player to ever win the NBA MVP. He has been a 3-time All-Star, the 2009 Rookie of the Year, an All-NBA selection, and the 2011 NBA MVP. Fans view Rose as one of the biggest what-ifs in league history. The knee injuries don't really apply to his overrated status since they were out of his control. The problem with Rose is that, even in his prime, he was a one-dimensional player in more ways than one. He was never an elite passer or floor general, but he was a good rebounder and defender. His forte is scoring. The problem is that he's very limited since he isn't a great jump shooter. He heavily relied on his leaping ability and driving to the basket. His MVP season was great, but an argument could be made that LeBron James should have won his 3rd straight MVP. We haven't seen anything to that level of play from Rose since that year. He has averaged just over 16 points per game and has shot roughly 31% from 3 for his career. Number 2. Kobe Bryant. The 13th overall pick by Charlotte in 1996, Kobe Bryant was immediately traded to Los Angeles. As a rookie, Bryant saw limited minutes, but as the season continued, he began to see more playing time. By 1998, he emerged as a premier shooting guard in the league. Along with Shaquille O'Neal, Bryant helped the Lakers win 3 straight NBA championships. With career averages of 25.4 points, 5.3 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and 1.5 steals per game, he is considered one of the most complete players in the NBA. He was the first player in NBA history to have at least 30,000 career points and 6,000 career assists. As one of the most dangerous scorers in league history, Bryant has the 2nd highest single-game scoring performance with 81 points. In his 20 seasons in Los Angeles, Bryant was an 18-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA selection, 12-time All-Defensive selection, 2-time NBA scoring champion, 4-time All-Star Game MVP, the Los Angeles Lakers all-time leading scorer, the 2008 NBA MVP, 5-time NBA champion, and 2-time NBA Finals MVP. I have Kobe as the 2nd greatest shooting guard of all time and as the 10th best player overall, but there are those who think he's right on par with Michael Jordan as the best ever. A quick glance at Kobe's numbers shows that he knows how to fill out the stat sheet, but when you look at advanced stats, he only ranks in the top 10 in a few areas. Kobe copied a lot of MJ's moves and attitude, but he was never really a one-for-one copy. Bryant wasn't even a full-time starter until his 3rd year in the league, and he was arguably not even the best player on his own team a decade into his career. But my main argument for why I feel he is overrated is that he carries the reputation as one of the most clutch players in league history. However, the numbers don't back up the Mamba mentality. And when you think about it, can you recall a clutch playoff moment from him in the playoffs when the chips were on the line? In his 7 NBA Finals, he shot 43% or worse in 6 of them. Many of the Lakers' big shots came from role players like Derek Fisher, Robert Horry, and Ron Artest. He has 2 Finals MVPs, but you could say his 2010 award should really go to Pau Gasol after Kobe went 6 for 24 in Game 7. It also has to be noted that he has the most missed shots in NBA history. There's no question Kobe's one of the all-time greats. Because he was tragically taken away too soon in 2020, people try to elevate him higher than his actual standing. Number 1. Reggie Miller. The 11th overall pick in 1987 by Indiana, Reggie Miller gained a respectable reputation early in his career as he led the Pacers to become a perennial playoff team. He was known for his precision three-point shooting, especially in high-pressure situations. His clutch shooting and never-say-die attitude made him one of the most feared shooters in basketball. His late-game heroics and inspired trash-talking at film director Spike Lee made him a wanted man in Madison Square Garden. At the time of his retirement, he held the NBA record for three-point field goals with 2,560. Miller retired after the 2004-2005 season. In his 18 seasons with the Pacers, he was a 5-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA selection, and the Pacers' all-time leading scorer. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2012. There's no doubt Miller's one of the greatest shooters ever, but that doesn't mean he deserves to be mentioned in the same breath as the true all-time greats. While he was great from beyond the arc, he wasn't a great scorer as he averaged just 18 points per game for his career. He had some big clutch moments in his career, but that reputation isn't wholly warranted when you consider his actual production. Many remember Miller's choke gesture towards director and Knicks superfan Spike Lee in Game 5 of the 1994 Eastern Conference Finals, but they overlook his poor outings in Games 6 and 7. The Pacers ran into the Knicks 5 times in the playoffs in the 1990s, and they lost 3 of those 5 series. When you take into account that he only had 5 All-Star appearances over 18 seasons and never made higher than a third-team All-NBA selection, his career just doesn't measure up to some of the other all-time greats. While Miller deserves plenty of respect and recognition, it should also be noted that he frequently failed to live up to his expectations in the postseason. Are you agree on our picks? Comment down below to know your picks.